And
terribly. Episode 29.
Jesus, already.
Yeah, man. 30 is a bit of a boring milestone, so we probably won't do anything for it.
No.
But we are one away.
We'll have like a secret birthday for that one.
Yeah.
We could just kind of like invite the family and forget to tell people.
Absolutely. And we told the people that we were going to make up for the fact that we took a week off.
Yes.
So yes, you are getting 2 back-to-back weeks of content, goddammit. Clap for yourself. Yeah. Is it still on?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
That fireplace that you said you were going to turn off before we start recording.
I mean, I couldn't even hear it, to be honest.
Yeah, because you got headphones on.
The fireplace is popping. We are in East London.
Yes.
It's man like Abs. It's man like Tommy. It's man like Johnny.
Hello.
Back again.
Yes.
Literally. Welcome back.
Yes.
Thank you.
What you
Shout
saying?
out to
What you
man
say?
like Yemi.
Yes.
What a standing role he did.
Yeah,
Yes.
100%.
Appreciates.
Podcasting is in the blood.
Come on.
Apparently.
What, in his
That's
blood?
what they're saying. That's
His
what the
blood.
streets
It's
say.
in his blood.
In his blood. Yeah. I'm just tagging along. Welcome to This Could End Terribly, episode 29. You are here with Abiyade, Tommy, Johnny. We are here every other week, most other weeks, on Amazon Music. That's when you guys say, Yeah. Spotify, SoundCloud. What's the other one? Apple Podcasts and YouTube.
If you're nasty.
Hit up the YouTube a little bit more.
Please. A lot of you are nasty as well. Like.
Yeah, just hit up that a bit more.
Just do that.
We're trying to transition. And if you have not yet, sign up to the mailing list, because Instagram is a terrible way to try and build a brand.
What do we find out? I've not signed up to the mailing list.
Yeah, because you're a pagan.
Yeah, I need to subscribe to the YouTube as well.
Yeah, you should.
I exclusively listen to us on YouTube.
Oh, you
Oh,
do,
yeah?
yeah?
Wow.
Nastiest.
Appreciate it.
He knows that Apple Podcasts is free as well, right?
That's nice.
We
And
are
yet
just asking
still,
you about USB-C charger, my friend.
Yeah. Apparently, I don't have one in my house. Gentlemen, very, very quickly, how you been?
surviving, thriving, waiting to go on holiday.
Yeah, you're going off on holiday. Tell the people where you're going.
That's right. By the time this episode comes out Tuesday, I will be in New York, baby.
We would know because you become a fucking social media whore when you go on holiday.
That's
Johnny.
right.
We will know.
That's right. You can see bare yellow taxis, bare salt beef bagels, Pundagram. And then the day after,
Original.
I actually can't let you.
no, let's anti-Semite, please. Gents.
What? I didn't say anything. I said that's original. You're going to get a salt beef bagel and get in a yellow cab in New York.
Yeah.
You probably get an Uber, but just say it anyway.
Apparently they don't really do Uber like that. It's actually quite tough to pre-book a cab in New York. That's what I've heard.
Is it?
Yeah, to pre-book a cab's quite hard. You got to just held down the yellow man. Apparently, there's better than about.
I think it's cheaper anyway.
Maybe. Anyway, and then the day after this comes out, I'll be down in Miami, baby.
Welcome to Miami.
Doing up Will Smith.
Benito, Miami.
What was, excuse me?
Dancing in the club with the heat is on all night on the beach to the break of dawn. I'm going to Miami. Welcome to Miami.
Very good. Yeah,
I'm gonna just echo Yemi's thoughts on that and just say justice for Will.
just throw back to the
Absolutely.
last episode.
Free Willy.
Free Willy. So yeah, I'm in Miami and I'll be getting sunny and swimmy and wavy. And
You're fucking obnoxious when you go on holiday. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah.
I can't wait to see pictures of him burnt.
Yeah, literally.
Can't wait to see.
And then he'll come back and be like, I got a
lobster
tan.
life.
Yeah.
Who
He's really burnt.
needs enemies with,
that lobster life.
with friends like you?
Exactly. Tommy, welcome back, brother.
Thank you.
How you been?
Good, man. Good to be back.
What's been going on?
I've kind of started to understand a bit better some of the reactions some of my friends have listening to this pod, basically.
Oh, shit, why?
Because last week when I was listening to, obviously, the pod that I missed, it was super frustrating.
Why?
Because all you do is just shout at at what you're listening at. You're like, nah, clearly it's this. You know what I mean? There
Gets
were
the
points
people
where
going.
you, man, were trying to guess like different things, and I was like, nah, man.
What, like when Johnny said that Drake is from Colombia?
That was clearly bullshit.
Yeah.
Mazza.
That was
when
an
you were
episode of
searching
Atlanta
for
that
the
threw me
Frosted
astray.
Flakes and la la la.
Yeah, I meant Crunchy Nut.
And all these things. There was like lots of points where I was just screaming at my laptop because that's how I consume this on YouTube.
Yeah, the point I was trying to make is that when my mum used to use Crunchy Nut as a substitute when the Frosties was out.
Crunchy Nut's way better than Frosties.
No,
anyway.
it's
Crunchy
not.
Nut is actually banging.
It's
No, it's
so
not.
much better than Frosties.
But you had a terrible childhood.
What?
Just sugarless porridge.
Just that one cereal household.
Yeah.
Bro, I can't imagine anything worse as a kid.
I didn't know it was such a problem until the feedback from this episode started coming
Utopia.
in.
Now you've understood what
Yeah,
Utopia
now
looks
I
like.
live, like I said.
Now I live.
Yeah, sorry, mummy.
Even until today, I have like 3 sets of cereal at home.
That's mad chat.
Yeah.
One set of like granola thing.
Right.
Like
Cornflakes
one
right
of these,
now.
Granola kind. Oh yeah.
We got granola in there somewhere. But that's it.
Yeah, I don't really do cereal for breakfast, though. I like a croissant.
I didn't necessarily say it was for breakfast. Cereal is
Or
not a
two
breakfast
twos. I'm a
meal.
big fan of intermittent fasting. I don't really do breakfast
Since
solids.
when? Why'd you say this shit? Since when?
Since I've been getting the body Miami ready, baby.
Okay. Well, look, man.
How are you, Rich?
No, good. Yeah, no, I'm good. It's
I'd like to take a second just to deep that okay.
I was trying to actually go past it. I don't know.
I just saw hot fire ready to come out of his mouth.
I was trying to get him out the booth.
Nah, yeah. I am wonderful, chaps. I am wonderful. Bit tired, feeling good, feeling great. How are you? We did that, didn't we?
We just did that.
That was just the Outkast lyric, it's from that song Outkast Get On Music where he says feeling good, feeling great.
I
How
don't
are
know
you?
that one.
Cool. We're gonna dive right in. Where do you man want to start? Because this is the opposite of a slow news week.
Jesus.
It's all been kicking off.
The notes are ready.
Should we start in Austria? I think What Would This Kid End Terribly, a podcast that was originated during a COVID lockdown, be without another COVID-related story?
Jesus, these
This
men
one.
are about it.
Before you set this up about Austria, though, I will say that in the future, I think we shouldn't cover countries where we're not trending on their podcast charts.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, we'll give Austria a free one
We'll
this
give them
week.
exactly.
Yeah.
But if you want us to cover you again, talk about you, even acknowledge your existence, we're going to need them streams to increase.
First one's on us.
What's your man's view on President Atliyev of Azerbaijan? Are you man pro or anti?
Why we get what?
So that's the kind of topics we're going to cover, because obviously Azerbaijan, they
We were
want
up
to hear
there.
what we're saying.
We're number
Yeah,
45 in
yeah.
that one.
Some
we
of the
got-
Scandi countries.
We'll come back.
Denmark.
They want to know what we think.
Yeah, we'll
Them
come
man
back.
pulling out the World Cup and that.
They'll come back. Austria will place millions of people not fully vaccinated against coronavirus in lockdown as of Monday this week in an effort to deal with a surge in infections, the country's chancellor has said. He said, "We must raise the vaccination rate. It is shamefully low." Approximately 65% of the population is fully vaccinated against COVID-19, which to me sounds decent, which is actually one of the lowest rates in Western Europe.
Correct.
Europe has again become the center of the COVID-19 pandemic. And many Austrians are skeptical about vaccines, a view which is encouraged by the far-right Freedom Party, the third biggest in parliament. Now, before we crack on Austria, it's not gone unnoticed, Johnny Vivas, that the conversation about COVID passports is hotting up again.
It is, yeah.
So your apparent right prediction on where we're going with that is
Yeah.
going to
Prediction's already
expire soon.
wrong.
No.
I think Scotland,
Yeah, Scotland
Wales,
is already-
Scotland, Wales. I think
Madre
was
mia de mi
it
vida.
Ireland this week who rolled it out as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Watch this space, but let's focus
Yeah.
on Austria.
So
What
I'm
we
still
say
right.
sounds kind of wild.
I'm still right for now. Yeah, it's a bit of a mad one. It's a bit of a mad one. So you can get a fine between 500 and 3,600 euros for being caught out your gaff.
Calm.
You reckon you're right that 3,600 euros?
I ain't a brokey.
Yeah, I hear that. 65% does sound all right, but it is one of the lowest vaccination rates in Europe. Comparatively, the leaders of Europe are Portugal, 88%, for some context.
Hola, tudo bem?
Spain on 80%.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Denmark on 76%.
Hey.
Hey. That's what they kind of sound like.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey,
my
hey.
name is Sylvia.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sylvia. Carry on.
Belgium.
I usually get all the corn for
Do you?
my accents.
Oh, right.
So I'm glad you've joined the
Mine
party.
are quite good.
Carry
That's
on.
why you get it. Belgium was 74%, Netherlands 73, Italy 73, France 67, UK 67, Germany on 67 as well. So basically, Austria are one of the least vaccinated man about.
Germany are going for a fourth wave right now.
Yeah,
as well.
I'm about to get onto them. So this lockdown for the unvaccinated was initially meant to last 10 days. They are going to consider it again in, I think it's next Wednesday, maybe the day after this pod comes out, whether or not they keep it. They might actually, as a headline came out today, actually install a curfew in the evenings for all citizens, vaccinated or not, such as the growing problem.
Oh.
in Austria.
That kind of sucks the life out of this story then, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty jarring. Pretty jarring. But what was funny that the week before these restrictions came in, 130,000 man went to get their vaccines in Austria.
When it got announced?
Yeah. The highest weekly total since mid-July.
How many?
130,000.
That's Matt Hancock numbers.
Yes. The highest weekly number since July, when obviously everyone was getting their jabs so they could go on holiday.
Don't know.
Germany, who we mentioned, are considering doing the same thing to unvaccinated people, idiots. The draft proposals, the draft proposal of the forming coalition is basically going as far as saying that people will need a negative test if unvaccinated, simply to get on public transport or to go to office.
Do you think it's going to come over here?
What, the lockdown for the unvaccinated?
Yeah, or
no.
non-vaccinated related rules and or lockdowns.
No. So, I mean, much like the baby in last week's episode, I have demonstrated my credentials as a thought leader when I said that we should put the unvaccinated on the Isle of Wight. Austria, being a landlocked country, doesn't have this option available to it.
Yeah.
They can call me if they want consular assistance. But I did actually do some research into what other countries in Europe are doing, because, you know, we have almost no restrictions here. And this sounds quite draconian without context, locking down the unvaccinated. In Britain,
we have restrictions. It's just we've won.
We
beat COVID. Did you not see the press conference? We beat this thing. It's over.
I saw that.
It's done, bro.
Congrats, guys.
So this is like George Bush's mission accomplished in 2003.
Bojo's done it, bro.
Yeah, he's won.
Yeah.
He's the first leader of the world to...
So I collected some stories from around the world and what other countries are doing.
All right.
Latvia, with a 59% vaccine rate, actually lower than Austria, has told its MPs that if they have refused to get the vaccine, they are banned from voting on laws, banned from participating in debates, and are also having their pay docked. That's quite...
I was about to say, if there was no pay dock, then
who gives a shit?
That's just a holiday. That's just a holiday.
Russia, where 35% of the population is being vaccinated, even lower.
I like that. Healthy skepticism.
At the end of October, they introduced a new partial lockdown in Moscow of restaurants and shops. They gave workers 9 days paid holiday.
Done, no?
To help stop the spread.
Gunshots.
Soyuzne Zrushini Republik Svobodnik, etc., etc. Queensland, Australia.
Okay.
From December 17th, going to bar the unvaccinated from restaurants, pubs, and sports games. And one of the best ones that I've found so far is that Singapore are saying from mid-December that anyone who's choosing to be unvaccinated will have to pay their own medical bills for anything COVID-related going forward.
That's that Piers Morgan's swag. He was on that as well, wasn't he?
Stop taking up the NHS resource.
Yeah, exactly. Similar vibes. All right, cool. We've gone through nation by nation approaches towards this thing, but what's the actual view? Is this right? Is this wrong? Is there a moral high ground here? I personally will hit the fucking streets of London and protest my ass off if this gets anywhere near here. And I mean that, and I say that rather as a double jabbed motherfucker. So yeah, that's where I stand on this.
For me, it's just about, as a country, figuring out how many deaths we're comfortable with, basically, is what it comes down to, right? So in Australia, they'll have 1 or 2 deaths and lock down the whole country. And here we'll have, I don't know, somewhere between 100 and 150 deaths a day. And we're like, all right, we're pretty comfortable with this.
Yeah.
And as heartless as it may sound, I'm pretty comfortable with the way things are right now. Like, yeah, cool. There are 100 people dying every day of COVID, or 100, some number that fluctuates in and around 100 to 150 every day. But it also means everything's open, right? So the trade-off is like Germany. Germany are having a similar number of deaths, 150, 200 deaths a day at the moment. And they're looking to go into the kind of lockdown measures that you described. So that's the trade-off. The trade-off is you go into a lockdown measure and you suppress that number from 200 a day to 50 a day, maybe 25 a day and then you go back to opening things up. Right?
What's the alternative to a country like Germany if they're not going to put the whole country in lockdown.
The
Because of a
alternative is
few
us,
hundred.
right? The alternative is open things up and be comfortable with 150 people dying every day from COVID, basically.
And reinvesting into the medical system
Blah, blah, blah,
and being able to.
Blah, blah,
Okay.
blah,
Yeah. What's your view? Is this right? Is this wrong?
I think it's I think it's pretty fucked when you do create such an overtly two-tier system, and I can't speak to the efficacy of the vaccine program in Austria. So their vaccination rate of 65% is not too dissimilar to ours at 67%. What I will say is that this country has done particularly well. You can give credit to Boris, you can give credit to the NHS, you can give credit to whatever. But this country is uniquely good at its testing capacity and also at the rollout of the vaccination. Now, Europe has caught up with us, but we went very early, very quick with the number of people we got vaccinated. And our capacity to test people rapidly is significantly better than the vast majority of countries in Europe, to the extent where it's now become a thing in Ireland that they're fucking fuming that it's so difficult and so expensive to get COVID tests compared to how easy it is on the NHS here. So I don't think it's right that you lock people down in their gaffs for not choosing not to get the vaccine. But it goes back to something that you two boys were actually saying a few episodes back that I was on the back foot about the general government tactic of coercion.
Yay.
And does it work? And I was probably wrong on that one in hindsight, as evidenced by the fact.
Whoa.
We should have like a soundbite for it, like a breaking news kind of thing. Yeah, because this is unexpected. Please continue.
Based on the fact that when they announced everyone's getting locked down, 130,000 people in Austria go and get the jab. I can't speak to what Austria's healthcare service is doing, but I know that our NHS and our civil service has done a pretty stiff job in getting people going to get the jabs in their arms, and I think that we've probably got more space to convince more people to get the jab. I don't know the proportion of infections to deaths in Austria, but I know that ours is pretty low.
Yeah.
Certainly versus other countries with lower vaccination rates. I think
just to back up something that you were saying about tests, and it's something that I saw across a couple of weeks ago, was in terms of testing, and we're looking at as Europe as a peer group, we've tested by far more people than... It goes back to Trump's thing as, oh yeah, of course we've got a higher number because...
We test more people.
Yeah.
So we've actually tested 300... We've actually conducted just a tad under or a tad over 349 million tests.
Boy.
Right?
I've taken a few of those.
So, yeah. Now, by comparison, number 3 in terms of conducting tests is it's France, and they've conducted 150 million tests.
Boy.
So it's more than double.
More than double the amount of tests. And I said 3 because Russia's second, and Russia's done 218. So they've been outstripped, right?
Yeah.
So in terms, just to back up your point, in terms of testing capacity, we're very good.
So the final thing I'm going to say on this topic is that I don't believe that locking the unvaccinated in their homes is the right thing to do.
Welcome.
But I do believe, like I said 2 episodes ago,
Isle of Wight.
that putting them on the Isle of Wight really solves a problem
Hunger Games thing.
for everyone else. Yeah.
Also, if you haven't read the book Nudge,
Yes.
then this is basically
Richard Taylor and them, man.
Exactly. This is exactly. We've seen policy over the last 18 months that's just basically been designed around that nudge theory.
We're going to do top 10 books of the year when Richard lets us.
It's not happening on this podcast, mate. Maybe you want to do like an IG live or something.
No,
from the,
it's
from the
happening on this
handle,
podcast.
And then you can do it on there.
No, because you get to do new music and albums.
I barely get to do new music.
I'm doing books.
I barely get to
Grow
do
up,
it.
it's happening.
You guys don't listen to music, apparently.
I listen to audio
Or
books.
read books.
Guilty. So I'll be curious to see how this rolls out. I don't think, to Tommy's point, I don't think the UK are gonna try a thing here. I don't think we necessarily need to. I think the stance that we've taken with regards to cases and deaths is a much more harsher one. Well, if you want to call it harsh, it is a much more blunt one.
I don't know, it could be this equally described as utilitarian.
Yep, you could. But yeah, I guess that's not the stance that a lot of other countries have taken, hence what they are going through now. What I will say is, look, man, solidarity to the people of Austria, France, Singapore, Australia, New Zealand who are coming in and out and in and out of these lockdowns for 2, and who knows, could be well into 2022 as well. Keep your mental health
Especially
as well as you
Aussie,
can, man.
The Aussies look like
Honestly,
they're ready to revolt.
because I can't even imagine what that's like. The thought of going into anything that even resembles another lockdown or even sort of restrictions right now in the UK makes me want to fight someone.
Yeah, no, it's basically, it's revolution time.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm reading a book about Napoleon right now,
Yeah.
I'm ready to go full Jacobin
Yeah.
if these men try to lock me in my gaff.
Yeah, for real. All right, so if we skirt 250 miles northwest, we obviously had some really, really bad news this week. A man who was killed outside Liverpool Women's Hospital on Remembrance Sunday when his homemade bomb went off has been named by police as 32-year-old Imad al-Swiamin. He was an asylum seeker, born in Iraq, who is understood to have converted to Christianity in 2017. He was the passenger of the taxi destroyed in the blast. Thankfully, the driver, David Perry, did not suffer life-threatening injuries. Apparently, he got out of the car just after somehow the explosion.
Pretty mad. If you watch the video, it's pretty bizarre how he just
pretty
climbs
crazy
out
how
of
he
it.
gets out. 4 men were arrested under the Terrorism Act initially, but have since been released. And what we understand is that Merseyside police were called at around 11 p.m. to report a car explosion at Liverpool's Women's Hospital, which is a maternity hospital, right? And the taxi carrying Emad had pulled up to the hospital and exploded shortly after. I mean, the first things first is obviously we've just got to, I guess there weren't casualties, right, other than him, from what I understand.
Yep.
Yeah, so, I mean, I guess that's the first thing that we have to say is we're fucking thankful for that. Obviously, a terrorist attack, whatever this is being labelled at the moment, takes on completely different meanings when there are loads of people who are involved and loads of people dying. Thankfully, that is not the case here. Let's tackle this first, right? What happened, the background, and then we can talk about how this has been covered by certain people at Number 10.
So I think it's pretty mad chat because it was a terrorist attack until they realised he was a Christian, and now it's a mental health issue.
Oh yeah, is that what the shift has been?
That's what's up.
Have they actually because
obviously
initially they called
declassified.
it declassified. Because initially they called it a terrorist.
Yeah, so the terrorist cat's out the bag. You can't
Obviously, because
put
they
that
saw
back in.
Iman and they were like, whoa,
shit.
that's obviously hit the terrorist.
Yeah,
bug.
so what they hadn't clocked is that Skeezer had actually changed his name. He wasn't going by Iman anymore. He called himself Enzo Almeni.
I like the name Enzo.
Yeah, Enzo's a nice name.
Yeah.
But obviously not when you're setting bombs off at women's hospitals, but it's a nice name. It's like Brooklyn vibe. Like, hey Enzo, your mom's come from Sicily and she likes sandwiches and shit.
He's getting it ready, isn't he?
I'm so proud. I'm going to pretend I'm from Brooklyn when I get there.
Yeah,
Watch.
don't do that for too long.
And get deported. Anyway, this guy came 7 years ago, and he applied for asylum around 2015. He actually was caught with a knife in public. He pled guilty to possessing a blade in public in 2015, and around that time expressed an intention to convert to Christianity to his friends. And he went on an Alpha course, was baptized in that same year, 2015, regularly attended church up until his confirmation in 2017, and that's when he kind of lost contact with a lot of friends and a lot of people in that network. It's quite an unclear picture at this stage, really, is the first thing that's worth saying of who this guy was, his background, his route here. There's a lot of...
Red or blue.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
A lot of...
He was in Liverpool. Red or blue.
yeah.
Sorry.
I was actually surprised that, after Johnny's spoken for this long, and the fact that this Donny decided to pick a women's hospital. We haven't heard the word incel mentioned yet.
Yes. Well,
Incel.
He might. But what even is a women's hospital these days? Are you allowed to Are they not?
Oh wow.
People with
That's the rabbit hole you're trying to go down.
people with cervixes. Anyway.
Okay.
Maybe
The Home
that
Office.
was Iman's question when he brought it up.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, please. Can we not?
No, we can bust jokes.
Can you get back to the topic?
He didn't do anything. He just blew himself up.
He actually only killed himself.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
fine.
So it's really just a suicide.
Yeah, for real.
It's just a spectacular one. Home Office turned him down in 2014, and he kept trying to reappeal to 2017. Not known to security services. Apparently, he'd been prepping since April. The police are now saying, but MI5 didn't really have a fucking clue who this
that's
guy
also
was.
a bit bullshit. If he's not known to the police, who are the 4 men they just scooped up afterwards?
Yeah, they were just
random people that they must have been watching.
just the last-
and been like, hold on, shit, they must be connected.
the last 4 phone calls in this. So it's like his dry cleaner, the Papa John's
Not even
guy.
because they didn't know it was him at the beginning, right?
they
So
not?
at the no, because he's just blown into a million pieces
Yeah.
in the thing. So literally, they would have just scooped up 4 men. that must have been being watched or on some kind of watch list and been like, what do you man know about
You
it?
man
And
are
then
sus.
been like, yeah, that's basically what it is. Because they were arrested under terrorism laws, right?
Yeah.
Which means that you don't need any of the due process and like all the necessary material that you need to collect before arresting someone.
Yeah.
So these man just got scooped up and then they were like, oh, it was a different kind of terrorist.
Okay.
You man, go back out. But
Well, naturally-
you've blown your own cover as well. Because these man now know they've been watched. You know what I mean? They've been
So
scooped.
you're a Christian. Sorry, we arrested you, Father
Yeah,
John.
well, naturally,
Off you go, Father John.
Really, the original international terrorists were the Christians in terms of exporting ideology across the globe, not least in the context of a women's reproductive
Segway King.
medical organization.
Segway Pappy.
Go back to like the Crusade times.
All of that. Oh,
Welcome
wait,
to, we should put the volume up on the
fireplace.
On the fireplace.
Yeah,
Story
especially-
time,
especially in present company.
History story time.
Yes, exactly. I don't know. It has been notable that kind of like the intensity of coverage has dropped since this guy wasn't a Muslim
Obviously, it's
anymore.
not interesting anymore.
Well, it's also just
Christian person tries to do a
not good
terrorist
as shit.
attack.
Enzo,
Ring.
bun this guy. I don't really care, basically. But it speaks to a wider sickness in how this stuff generally is reported. Like, obviously, if this guy had mental health issues, we should have been like protecting him. He shouldn't have ended up in this situation. It also speaks to how wrongly the media focuses on stories of interest, specifically when they think the bloke that blows himself up is a Muslim versus when they don't think he is.
Yeah.
It also ties into another story of Priti Patel claiming powers this week to strip man Shamima Begum style of their citizenship. That's what's
But
up.
before we even get onto that, because that's the natural segue after, but she actually said, in response to this particular case, that Imad Enzo was able to exploit Britain's dysfunctional asylum system to remain in the UK. And she linked the case to the complete merry-go-round of the system, claiming that a whole industry was devoted to defending the rights of individuals intent on causing harm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think she's as intently looking to deport the geezer that shot his mum and then killed a bunch of other people. Like, I wonder what the difference between him and Enzo is, let alone the other majority of violent crimes that are committed in this country by people who probably won't be having their citizenship revoked anytime soon.
I mean, there's probably not too many hot takes that we can really wean from this story, right? Like, we started it by saying that we're glad that nobody else was hurt. There is a massive narrative, or there was a massive narrative around it being a terrorist attack, which clearly shifted. And comments, that come from Priti Patel in after events like this take place, it's just a slam dunk for someone like her, right? She always puts her voice on these situations. Exactly.
It's also her remit, right?
It's a remit. It's a remit. It was a bit off mark, but it's a remit, and it is what it is. She's a media person.
It's not off mark though. It's 100% on mark, right? Because she has a super conservative. She's trying to push through super conservative policies across immigration, and this fits that narrative perfectly. I
think she's on form.
Yeah, exactly.
I think her
PR team have hit this bang on, basically.
I think it's not off form for her, but I don't necessarily think she's nailed the sentiment of this with the comments that she made. I don't think she's quite accurate.
I think you'd be surprised. Like, maybe not to me and you, but I think there's a lot of people who
I agree with
who this message would resonate, because, like you said, this guy got rejected in 2014. And come 2017, he's still in the country. So a lot of people will be asking, well, why was he not deported for 3 years? And ultimately, it goes back to this cottage industry that she's talking about of appeals processes and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, she can try to dumb it down in the way that she's doing and taint everyone who's going through that process with this kind of terrorist brush. But it's an effective way of communicating her message.
Yeah, for real. And continuing on my favourite wide hips, Priti this week was linked with another story. Individuals could be stripped of their British citizenship, as Johnny alluded to, without warning under a proposed rule change quietly added to the Nationality and Borders Bill. Clause 9, sexily named as Clause 9, Notice of Decision to Deprive a Person of Citizenship, of the bill, which was updated earlier this month, exempts the government from having to give notice if it is not reasonably practical to do so, or in the interests of national security, diplomatic relations, or otherwise in the public interest. Critics say removing citizenship, as in the case of Shamima Begum, to to Johnny's point, who fled Britain as a schoolgirl to join IS in Syria, is already a contentious power, and scrapping the requirement for notice would make the Home Secretary's power even more draconian.
So the thing about this specifically is that it's particularly an action that affects minorities and people of color. So under the Geneva Convention, you can't just make people stateless. The government's justification for stripping Shamima's citizenship was that she had access to another citizenship, which means that all three of us in this room are basically subject to the same threat in theory that Shamima was. All three of us are eligible for other passports, so all three of us could be stripped of our citizenship without notice under this change in the law. But it kind of goes back to the last point on why Priti's messaging was so on the nose with this terrorism story, is because the biggest, widest strategic angle that the Tories are fighting for is, and always has been, kind of always will be, certainly going into the next election, about immigration.
Yep.
The entire strategy is about creating fear about people coming into this country. And that's why she specifically honed in on the fact that this guy came in and could be a threat, meaning that others that come into the country could also be a threat. It speaks to a wider right-wing taking advantage of this insecurity among the indigenous, in inverted quotes, population, where you have people who incessantly write stories about these Bradford rape gangs and rapists coming onto our borders. And yet when a story comes out about Boris Johnson's dad being touchy-feely, famous columnists say, yeah, no, Stanley Johnson's a bit handsy, but the police should be focusing
Handsy.
on
I've
real
always
crimes.
loved that word.
Yeah, but she said, Isabel Oakeshott, shout out, friend of the show, said the police should be focusing on real crimes. Real crimes. So if like Stanley Johnson's a little bit rapey, then that's not a problem. But all of these like dirty animals washing up on our shore is. And so that's why this messaging, I hate to agree with Tommy, but why this messaging is so powerful, because it is specifically playing to this fear that is a cornerstone of conservative rhetoric about stopping the other taking our land from us. And it's particularly insidious in the context of removing people who are born in this country's citizenship and conflating people born here with people trying to come here.
Yeah. So, like I said, I thought the messaging was pretty on the nose. I guess going back to this Liverpool thing, my take on it, I guess you looked at it from a slightly different angle as to like how it's being reported in the media and stuff. But another way I guess you can look at it is about from like a policing perspective, right? Like, to what degree can we expect the security services and the police to be able to kind of thwart these kinds of attempts, right? So if I was to pick up a knife from Abiyadi's kitchen here and go on a stabbing spree up the road, conceivably, you wouldn't imagine the police can do much to stop that ahead of time, right?
Right.
But if you spent months and months and months trying to put together some kind of explosive device that requires some level of sophistication and a few parts that aren't easy to get, you'd expect, given the unlimited funding that's happened over the last 10, 15 years on the war on terror, that this brother would have been flagged somewhere, right? So I think that's also another kind of interesting angle to think about in terms of what level of protection can we really expect from these security services if there are, literally billions of dollars being pumped into these kinds of like preventative measures, then, can we expect to see stuff like this being prevented?
Yeah.
On this whole removing citizenship from people stuff, I just think it's a tough one. I'm not sure if it's preventative or remedial. I did say in the case of Shamima, when we had that episode, I thought she should be tried in absentia. I didn't particularly see the need for her to return to this country. Remember my thinking that has swayed in the interim?
And then you saw her glow up. And you're
Yes.
Yeah, that's why she should be allowed back now.
bring baby back
Yeah, apple bottom jeans, boots
with the fur.
with the fur.
And realistically, she's moving into your ends.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
It's not going to be, she's coming straight into East London.
She's certainly not moving to Hampstead. That's not happening.
Might see her about.
Maybe.
Significantly upgrade the average bowl rating.
Don't know.
Oh boy.
He's making Bo sound ugly as fuck.
Yeah, Jesus. Immediately cancelled.
It's all right. Man. We got some yummy mummies in the ends, you know what I mean?
Boy, yeah, citizenship.
18, innit?
She's this Shamima and Priti just getting compliments today. You man are deplorable.
Well, no, he's been a Priti fan for a minute.
Yeah, he has.
Man.
He has. Anyway,
My baby Rain has been doing the rounds on TV this week as well. She been looking lovely.
oh my goodness,
doing the rounds.
that is haram.
Her and Chris
Brother.
Christie doing the rounds.
That is haram.
If you are redheaded,
Haram.
I like you.
No wonder you're a YouTube subscriber.
Swear down.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's particularly preventative or remedial. Like in Tommy's example, if someone decides to go stabbing the shit out of someone, like is removing their citizenship after the fact going to be useful? Well, no, because actually what I think you end up doing is exporting extremists to other countries.
I don't think this law would make it through anyway.
Well, I think it might. But the point is that I think you end up
just out by the House of
you
Lords.
you end up exporting extremists to other countries, right? So let's say someone does some mad shit
Fine,
in this
no
country,
problem, not my
but it
problem.
is a problem. It is a problem. So if someone does some mad shit in this country, then at least you can kind of keep tabs on them in the prison system. Fine. You're paying for their upkeep and it's expensive, etc. You're basically neutralizing a threat if you keep them in solitary confinement to an extent. If you let this guy, let's say, for example, someone with dual citizenship, you pack them off back to France or Algeria or anywhere else where these supposed breeding grounds are, then you're basically allowing them to return almost as a martyr or almost as a hero to the people that they want to preach to. So I'm not really convinced that allowing people back into the public after they've committed crime is the best way to prevent crime going forward.
I don't know if I agree with that, but I don't know if that's true. But returning someone to somewhere that they don't want to go to, I don't think they'll be viewed as a martyr going back, right?
But you think this is going to get chopped up and it's not going to come through?
Yeah, I doubt they'll get past the House of Lords and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I definitely, like Johnny said, there's the Geneva Convention also makes it illegal to make someone stateless. Blah, blah, blah. So there'll be a lot of, if it's not chopped out, then there'll be a lot of like conditions put on it. It's not like the stabbing example we used earlier. That's not going to cost someone their citizenship, basically. I'm assuming they're linking this to terrorism.
This government is deporting Windrush people for dodging tax bills and shit like this. I don't know, stabbing people up. If they can, under this power, if they can get rid of you, if you can have access another passport, they're going to get rid of you.
I doubt.
So, looks like I am. Well, it would appear. There's something I said. I think it was 2 episodes ago about where old another pretty politician, where old Kamala is going to be.
Yes.
By the next election. It looks like I'm going to have to hold an L.
This is the admit I'm
not
wrong
saying,
podcast.
I'm not saying.
I ain't got nothing to admit.
Yeah. I ain't been wrong since birth, motherfucker.
See how we've both been vulnerable on this episode. Tommy's just out here with his
That's the name of this episode, vulnerable, isn't it?
Yeah, it would appear
certain dons.
It would appear that if you've noticed that Kamala, do I ever say her name right?
Kamala.
Is it Kamala or Kamala?
Kamala.
Depending on who's saying it.
Oh no, it is Kamala, isn't it?
No, it's Kamala Harris.
It might be Kamala. You know?
I think it's Kamala because everyone was
It
saying
doesn't
it wrong.
matter, man. She's gonna disappear into
We're not gonna need to know her name in a few months.
fairly
Piece of
soon.
shit. No one's ever going to remember her.
Yeah, so if you don't remember what I'm talking about, I think I said that Joe was going to find himself out here rocking on some rocking chair in a couple years, and that Kamala would rise within the ranks to take over.
We both disagree with you.
And
Vehemently.
Yes.
I was looked at like I was an absolute mug by my fellow co-hosts, and it would appear that the cracks starting to show in the White House. And there are more and more rumors emerging that the relationship between old Cammy, and Joseph is strained. And she is finding herself increasingly sidelined and not enjoying a great deal of success with the parts of the role that she's been given by her superior. Is Joe her superior? Do you call her superior?
He's the boss.
Yeah.
The boss.
But do they call each other superiors? He is the ogre. I guess it is superior.
That
In a
beats
traditional sense, I guess it is superior. I'm not going to lead on this because...
Well, he's the village chief of Washington, D.C.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why I said that.
I like that.
I don't know why I said that.
He is her superior in the traditional sense.
I mean, he can't really be running that house. Is kind of my point, right? Like, is he really? Anyway,
No, he's so old and senile. He must look at her and be like, "Oh, why are you wearing a suit? Shouldn't you be working in the garden?"
Yeah.
She's
Wow.
obviously indoors.
I'm not gonna expand on this too much. I'm gonna let you guys expand because I don't really want to revel in how wrong I might be on this. So Tommy, you take great interest in this. So tell us what's going down.
That's a very expansive question.
Yeah, I think actually I disagree. I think we should marinate on how wrong Rich was.
I mean,
on
is it
this.
necessary?
Yes.
It's not happened yet. So
To be fair, I don't think you're obviously wrong, but it wasn't a big L. It wasn't a big L because
And
I think this is something
it's not
still that
happened.
people
Guys, it's not happened
exactly.
yet.
It's because
Yeah.
we're a
All
bit
right.
sneaky about this kind of stuff that we know this.
Yeah.
But to the general public, I think she's still somewhat of a kind of media creation that holds some level of credibility.
she's so fine.
Is she?
You reckon? Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
You got interesting taste. In
Yeah,
politicians.
lie.
Have you looked at Kamala?
Yeah. I've seized that.
He's got a thing for gingers, but also likes Priya Patel and Kamala Harris.
You might not look at Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Look at her again, please. Continue, my
It's
son.
just a biracial thing working
No.
for you. Yeah?
I mean, no, it's not even that. Like, it's just she's objectively just kind of
like,
fire.
she's like an older Danny Lee. Is that what
to
it
be
is?
fair, like
Yeah.
for a woman of her age, maybe.
Bruv, you're gonna look at her again and you're gonna see what I'm saying. I'll talk to you in 2 weeks.
Why have you turned into a Sicilian New York gangster?
Oh no!
You're gonna look at her
turned
again,
into
you're gonna
chairman,
change your
into
mind.
uncle.
You're gonna change your mind. Let's
You look
talk
at
in
her-
2
you-
weeks.
You look at her, you take another look, you might like her. You never know.
All right, so so everything we're hearing about Kamala right now, or Kamala, I don't know why I'm going.
Who
full
gives a
to
shit?
your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The soon-to-be
is
ex-VP.
because there's a bit of a vacuum. There's a power vacuum that's kind of emerged in the
Because
states.
Biden's
right?
asleep.
Because Biden, is asleep most of the time. People are questioning his mental fitness, his physical ability.
Apparently,
blah,
he
blah,
shit
blah.
himself at COP26.
Apparently, he farted in front of the Pope.
But
That's
apparently,
what
he
it was.
also shit himself. Yeah.
Methane.
Yeah.
Either way, though, so
Conspiracy.
the power vacuum is as a result of uncertainty as to whether he's going to run or not, right? And if he doesn't run, the natural person who's meant to step up to the plate on the Democratic side would be his VP.
But
right?
he said recently he is gonna run again, having initially said during his initial run
Yeah.
or his election run that he was only gonna do one term.
yeah. So initially, his pitch was, "I'm going to do one term, and I'm going to heal the country after Trump." That was the pitch, and then I'm going to hand over to the next guy. And everyone was like, "Yeah, fine, we like you, Joe. You've tried to be president like a million times, so all right, I guess it's your go."
All
now."
right, fine.
Yeah, and it's obviously hit him too late. And this power vacuum has manifested itself in Kamala and Pete.
Yo, her name has rattled us.
And well, you've rattled
just
like
say
you're
the
in my head.
soon
It's
to be ex-VP.
Kamala, yeah, is now in like a somewhat of a shootout with some guy called Pete Buttigieg.
Yes.
For essentially front running status if Joe doesn't run.
Yes.
So
He won't win it either.
he's also deeply unpopular.
Yes.
He's similar to her in the sense that he's also an empty suit and
Yeah.
a bit of a media creation.
Yeah.
But right now, they're the two kind of like anointed ones
Yeah.
for the next generation. And now, to be fair to her, she has been a little fucked by the Biden administration in the sense that they've given her some of the toughest portfolios, right? So one of the things that they've told her to solve is immigration.
Yes.
So it's like go to the border and
Sort
figure
it
this
out.
immigration thing, right? And she's got all these kind of like bullshit briefs as the vice president, right? So she's got the immigration one, which is tough. Then she's got something to do with women in space, which is like insignificant to a lot of people. So she hasn't got the greatest briefs, whereas Pete Buttigieg has been given billions of dollars to hand out.
He's
post-COVID,
transport
basically,
secretary.
as transport
Yeah,
secretary,
yeah.
right?
Whilst they're passing an infrastructure bill. It's actually quite
Exactly.
important.
So he's like, they call him the most important transport secretary in modern history. But
Since New Deal era.
that doesn't mean shit because you can't name a single transport secretary.
Well, they
ever.
also can't pass the fucking bill to build any
Yeah, they've
infrastructure.
passed it now. They did over the progressives, basically. So
Well,
it's
they haven't got
basically
Manchin
passed.
to swing it yet.
No, this is Manchin's bill, basically. Anyway, we'll get back into that. So with Kamala Harris, basically what it comes down to is there was some data that came out last week in relation to approval ratings. So Joe Biden, our good friend,
Yes.
the president of the free world, has an approval rating of a job approval rating of 38%.
Shit, I thought it was going to be a quiz question.
So 38%
Would have been a good one.
have positive approval of his job performance, and 59% have a disapproval.
Shit.
Disapprove of his performance, right?
Shit.
Imagine.
The only person who's doing worse than him is your bae. Yeah. And she's got a job
She is my
approval
bae.
rating of
She
28%, bro. That's 28% of respondents who have affirmatively said, we like her.
I will give her the other 72.
And a disapproval rating of 51%, right? So
The majority of people fully don't like her.
So good.
and
you need to know
there's
her
also
to love
a
her.
majority of people greater than those who approve who just don't know who she is. And she's the vice president, right?
It's disrespectful.
The question comes down to why. Why is it that she's so deeply unpopular? Why did the Democrats pick such a bad candidate? And she's obviously quite popular with the political kind of donor class. But what it comes down to is that she represents representational politics, basically, right? In an era, especially now post-Obama, where everyone's clocked that representational politics is a failed game. It's a game that doesn't work for anyone, right?
Correct.
And Pete Buttigieg, who's like an openly gay man, is similarly just
It's the exact same shit.
It's exact same,
Even
just a
more
different
raucous.
target. Just a different target demographic.
So
right?
dumb.
So that's why she doesn't stand for anything. She ran for president. She couldn't. Before her own home state of California, she was placing 5th, so she had to drop out before she got embarrassed, right? So she doesn't have any core values. That's basically what it comes down to.
Politics,
There's no
bro.
core values there, and in a time where people are looking for authenticity, i.e., a la Trump and things like this, you have this woman who's like, hey, I'm a woman. Hey, I'm also kind of biracial.
I'm peng.
And that's it. And I'm a little peng. And that's it. That's
Thank
the
you.
whole pitch. There's no ideas. There's no policies and and that's why she's being found out, basically. But that's all of this is also not to say that Pete Buttigieg is any better.
Is she going to make it to 2024?
No.
Nah, I mean, like she might, but it looks like they're trying to replace her which is it's also not an easy thing to do to replace the vice president. But it looks like they're trying to. There's some rumor going around that she may get kicked up to the Supreme Court because she's like some practicing state's attorney and general. She used to be an attorney general and stuff. So they might try to kick her up to the Supreme Court and then replace her with essentially a carbon copy in Pete Buttigieg.
She's egotistical enough that she'll probably stand down with Biden on the 24 ticket, let another pair come in. They'll lose the Republicans, and it gives her a go to run in 28 as her own credential candidate.
Egotistical, yeah, but not.
So she will make it to
requires
2024.
no, but that
No, she won't
requires too
stand on the
much.
ticket in 2024.
That requires too much self-understanding. There's no way you think that if you think that she doesn't think she's going to win it, like they're going to fight it out to the death. If Biden doesn't stand,
He won't stand.
then she's not letting anyone else go. Basically, she's not stepping back. That's what happened to Chris Christie, and it fucked him, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
it's
he's
not
now
my
on the
turn.
he's now on the comeback trail.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He's
Yeah.
now on the comeback trail because when he should have gone for it, he was like, "Oh, it's not my turn yet."
Yeah.
Waited, and then look what happened.
I think he's got
turned
a very.
into a cuck.
I think he's actually got a very bars. I think he's actually got a very good chance in 2024 because other than Trump, whose moment I think will probably have passed by the time we get there, the field is fairly thin with people like Ron DeSantis and
Take
Josh
that
Hawley,
back. Take that
all
back.
these fucking
Don't
weirdos.
disrespect Olga Trump like that again.
Trumpites.
He'll be
But
back.
I don't think Trump runs in 2024. Kamala Harris was a raucous pick and an awful pick for VP, as we said at the time. Buttigieg's argument is basically like, fine, I'm not black, but I am gay. And again, that doesn't really suffice as a policy platform. We're in a unique moment, as Tommy
Just one thing in that
said.
Pete Buttigieg thing, when you're talking about black people and
Yeah.
Pete Buttigieg, in South Carolina, which is a historically black state, Pete Buttigieg won 3% of the black vote during the primaries.
Hey, no one knows who this fucking guy is. He's the mayor of a tiny town called South Bend in Indiana, right? So,
South Bend.
yeah,
Oh, there's jokes in that, surely.
there's a few.
Carry on.
You've given us the hand motion to wrap up the topic. Anyway,
Yeah,
Joe Biden's
please.
job was basically the deep state were like just fucking stay awake long enough.
Sounds like rich chat.
Stay,
Deep state.
yeah, 100%.
Sounds like Avi Adi chat
100%.
here.
Well, if you don't think the deep state exists at this point, puppy, I can't really help you. But they basically like, just stay awake long enough. Like, we'll give you so much Adderall, we'll keep you awake long enough that you don't pass out. Get Trump out of office, and then we'll get some proper Republicans in next time. Kamala Harris was just basically identity politics to get him over the line after he said that dumb shit about if you're not if you don't vote for me, you're not black.
Peng politics.
That was to Charlemagne the God.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh fuck, he almost fell asleep. Now we need a black woman on the ticket. So like they're gonna go down together, is my view. But she was an awful pick. She's always been an awful pick. She's an awful politician. Fuck, I got no time for her.
Who did you guys pick over the last 2 years in the Drake and Kanye West beef? Which side did you pick?
I'd have to say, based on streams,
No, just
Team Drake.
if you had to ride out for one of them over the last 2 years, who are you
I ain't
riding out
riding
for?
neither of these guys.
I mean, they're both. Yeah, I don't really care for either. But Drake is Jewish.
So you were riding out for Drake
Yeah.
on Jewish grounds?
Yeah.
You
I
were
was riding for Drake. That's what I listened to more Drake than I did Kanye during the last couple of years.
Drake
disrespectful.
hasn't designed any fucking shit trainers. So I like.
That being said,
that's not true.
The College
Have you not-
Dropout
have you
is
not
probably
seen his
the best
Nikes?
album.
You not
What?
seen Drake's Nikes at all?
No.
Cool. You should check them before you start spewing incorrect facts. I was riding for Kanye West. I've always rid
No,
or
really?
rode
Is it Kanye?
for Kanye.
Or
Pause.
Kanye?
It's now Ye actually.
Pause.
Did I say something plausible?
You'll listen to it on the edit.
What did I say?
You'll listen to it on the edit.
Something about riding for Kanye. Okay. Fair. Were you guys happy that the beef came to an end this week?
I saw a jokes meme of like two Bloods and Crips with their bandanas like,
tied up together. Yeah.
I mean, was this beef ever really a beef?
It really wasn't, man.
It was
It's
not.
the most useless beef in the
This
history
was
of hip
not.
hop.
This was not
Rich
like,
beef.
Like,
it was at the Game and 50 Cent back in the day. Like
Yeah.
that was. You were like, them. I might actually.
No,
like,
this is like
rock it.
Wagyu beef.
Yeah, literally.
This is what
Like,
this
at least
was.
50
Haute
and Jar.
qualité.
50 and Jar was actually like a street beef because it
50 and Jar
actually
was beef.
involved like a proper street guy, like Supreme McGiff and all them guys and Murder Inc. And that's a real straight
Murder Inc.
beef.
Some real shit.
R.I.P. Young Dolph, who got killed in Memphis yesterday. That's another example of a proper street beef that spilled into music, but was part of street beef before. He had beef with Yo Gotti and Yo Gotti's gang or gang affiliations, allegedly. So I've always known that, in some respects, sad to say, that day was going to come for Young Dolph, and I think he knew as well. Because of the beefs that had happened in the past. But this Kanye West and Drake one was just a nonsense. Like, they're both probably two of the most inoffensive rappers in the history of hip hop who have been basically pitted against each other to line the pockets of this guy called Lucian Grange, who runs Universal Music. And it's been an absolute payout for him because he had two of the biggest albums in the last 5 years from your two biggest artists, and voila.
These men are way too rich to actually want to do anything to
And
each other.
Kanye West said that.
They ain't got
Kanye West,
the time.
You're talking about
Kanye
it's on
West-
site. as
Kanye
Drake
West
said
has
in that
always
tune.
Kanye West has always had people beef him. Do you know what I mean? He's always had people like throw little jabs at him. He's never responded. He's never been on that. He doesn't care.
He's got fuck
Yeah,
you.
but the
He's got
jabs,
fuck you, man.
but the jabs
He
that
jabbed
Drake was
back.
throwing was strong
Yeah, no,
jabs.
and
like,
he jabbed back.
I fucked your wife.
This is
and
one of the
all this
first
kind of
times.
stuff.
Yeah. And this
Is
was
that
one
what
of the
Drake
first.
said?
Yeah, he kind of made. He alluded.
Insinuated.
Insinuated.
I've been
And,
up
look,
in
and,
there.
and to your point, Tommy.
Swear down.
And to your point, Tommy. This is the first time that Kanye West probably, for the first time, felt like he indulged. He had
Had a
to.
little
because
nibble.
yeah, exactly. He nibbled. He massively did.
Like Drake did.
But it wasn't really. But basically, what happened is that as they always say, when the streets get involved in these things, they either reach a very, very bad end or a very, very amicable end. What people don't really understand about Drake is that even though he is this like really, really corny guy who's very, very successful and very, very talented, he also has like really massively strong gang affiliations in Texas with this guy called Jay Prince.
Does he?
Yes,
So
and he's
yeah,
always
like Tekashi, innit?
Yeah. He's always had this affiliation, and I don't know if it's like an extortion thing where Drake just got so rich that he needed security, and security came with all of that connection. But ultimately, this Jay Prince guy. Don't know if you guys saw the video of Kanye West reading a little speech out of his phone
Yeah, who
saying,
was
like,
that?
I want to.
Who-
That's
the guy,
Jay Prince.
Is that the guy that was standing behind next to him?
That's
Yeah.
Jay Prince. So
Okay,
he's
okay.
like a very influential businessman and who has a past, to say the least. And the thing that ties them together, as we alluded to on episode 28, is the Larry Hoover thing. They have this vested interest, this joint vested interest to get Larry Hoover Sr. released from prison after 47 years, as we covered. So Jay Prince is leading it from a business perspective. He's got two huge endorsers of that campaign in Kanye West and Drake. So this was eventually going to happen. They were always going to meet.
You say
Like-
huge endorsers, but I mean, like, they're pretty insignificant in terms of like,
No,
endorsing.
you
to try
say
to get
that.
someone out
You
of
say that,
prison.
but Julius Jones, that guy in in America who was literally a day away or hours away from getting the electric chair in America
with
today, Kim Kardashian essentially helped get pardoned. It's having that kind of endorsement is huge.
Yeah, but that's Olga Trump days. That doesn't happen any other time except Olga Trump.
But this has
time.
happened now. It's not Trump days anymore.
No, but I'm saying like having Drake or having Kanye or whatever may be good to drum up a bit of publicity for this guy. But this businessman or this ends guy that you're talking about is much better off splashing some cash towards some lobbyists or getting some
I don't know, man.
former AG to lobby whoever they need to lobby.
That direct access to the president gets you tax breaks and pardons, bro.
But there's no direct
direct access anymore.
My friend,
We don't
direct
know.
access
We
only
don't.
happened during
For what
Olga
it-
Trump days.
For what it's worth, we don't know that.
We know that.
We don't know that.
We know that.
Oh, we don't know
Biden
that.
doesn't have enough time to do his own job, let alone meet about rappers.
Bro, they
My
might-
G's
napping.
asleep
Listen
12
to
hours
me.
a day.
Listen to me. They might not necessarily have direct access to Joe Biden, but they probably still have direct access to the White House.
I don't know about that. This
course
is a
they-
much more
come
professional
on.
White House. The White House doesn't get involved in stuff like this. Whereas Trump's White House gets involved in all types of things. This is a states' right issue.
I put it to you that the shocker of the Donald Trump era was that he actually supported these clemencies and these pardons that were backed by Kim and Kanye.
Yes.
If anything, for me, that's a Joe Biden play.
No, but there was a simple reason why he did that. There was a simple reason why he did that because Trump said that. Guess what Kanye said in the Drinks Champs interview? He said that Trump told him that after he made friends with Kanye, his vote in the black community went up 40%. Now, bear in mind that like 10 black people voted for Trump before and maybe 14 did afterwards. It wasn't a massive move. But like Joe Biden's so senile, he already thinks all black people vote for him. So there's no upside to Biden to getting Kanye into the White House. He'd just be like, "Why are you here?"
What in a period
forget
in a
that.
period where he's
Forget
approved?
all-
Wait,
you're 100%
in
right.
a period where his approval ratings are going down.
Yeah, because you're 100% right, but
Of course he would.
it's more fundamental than that. A president has too many fish to fry to deal with an issue like this, basically. You are the president of a country, right? It's only Olga Donald who has time to be dealing with stuff like this.
But he was a
It's
president.
trivial shit.
But he was a
Trivial
president.
shit, exactly.
But he was a president. So he did it. Trump.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's
So
not gonna
he
happen
was willing
anymore.
to meet with Spike Lee and Kanye and rah, but no other president has ever carved out that kind of time for anything remotely celebrity related.
Okay. Well, either way, we don't really know the ins and outs as to how Julius Jones came out, but the fact remains, Jay Prince is this unifying factor that brought these two people together. And yeah, I mean,
Let's do an episode on this guy. Sounds kind of lit.
yeah, I mean, I don't
Send
really.
him to Israel, sort out Israel-Palestine.
Yeah, for real. Do your Googles on him. He very much wears his history and his past quite openly. I think he had a book a good few years ago, which goes into it a little bit more. And look, I guess I look forward to the music. I think the music is bound to be very
think
fire
we'll
now
see
that
a
they're
collab?
friends. Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
That'll make a lot of money, to be fair.
Without a doubt. They collabed before.
What did they
Don't-
collab on?
People forget that Drake's very first video, Best I Ever Had, was produced and filmed by Kanye West. And
Oh, I swear.
yeah, and they've done all kinds of. One of Drake's biggest mixtape songs, Say You Will, is off the Kanye West instrumental from 808s and Heartbreaks. Kanye West has produced. They were on the song Forever together. You know, Ye was Drake's hero until he met him, right?
Boy.
And then they were friends for a bit and they fell out. But even as recently as like the Life of Pablo album, which was like 3 or 4 albums ago for Kanye West, they were on stage together doing shit. So it was a beef for entertainment purposes.
I hope they both
So
got paid.
if you picked a side, you weirdos, if you picked a side, I hope you feel stupid because it was fake.
I feel like Drake won.
Nah.
I feel like Drake won.
He
I
did
mean,
win.
I got 9 billion reasons as to why Kanye West won.
Yeah, I mean, soon to be 4.5. He's very divorced, but I feel like Drake's.
I think that's fake as well, by the way.
I feel like probably actually. I think we agreed on
She
that.
went on a date with Pete Davidson, didn't she?
Yeah, that was jokes. I saw that.
He must have a jackhammer.
White-
Speaking of jackhammers,
White
Jack
boy summer.
Grealish.
Oh boy, another
No, I
White Boy
actually
Summer
didn't.
invitee.
I actually didn't really want to.
He's actually got too much sauce for White Boy Summer.
Wow, that's racist.
Yeah,
That's
100%.
hella racist.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Listen. Let's put it this way. Yeah.
Do you know how many billionaires we
Once
got on
you
White
send
Boy Island?
out an invite to White Boy Summer, the other person has to accept the invite. And I'm thinking Jack ain't turning up to that. He wants to be in Portugal for sure.
Yeah, to be fair. To be
For
fair.
sure. He wants to be somewhere not WBS.
So
Nah,
yeah,
we
the
got
reason why I
billionaires.
brought him up is because
Yes.
he's apparently got a girlfriend, but news hit the streets today that he may be allegedly playing away with not just one lady, but two. Two well-known ladies, no less.
Oh.
As if the embarrassment isn't enough for his missus.
Hey.
Emily Attack,
Oof.
comedian, actress, in-betweeners, and Amber Rose Gill of Love Island fame. Everyone's favourite Geordie, after Alan Shearer.
Amen.
Is it after Alan Shearer?
Yeah.
Fun that.
Keep your head straight.
Alan Shearer is definitely no one's favourite Geordie. Not my favourite Geordie.
Who's your favourite Geordie?
My favourite Geordie, there's only one Geordie in it. Cheryl Cole, really. That's my
Nah,
favourite
she don't like my
Geordie.
people, bro.
That's true.
I still back her.
She would bat you in a bathroom.
It's fine.
You back her?
Yeah.
Cool. Look who you're backing.
Back in.
Look at who you're backing, bro.
You're backing into
It's
her.
madness.
Yeah,
Pause.
pause.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
She's a madness.
I kind of done the segue.
Still,
I
till
kind of done the
today.
segue backwards. We're not that kind of podcast. So, Godspeed, Jack Hammer Grealish. Godspeed.
So,
Do
on
your
Jack
thing.
Grealish.
I actually was going to talk about footballers and segue to
Yeah,
Jack
so I was
Grealish,
gonna
but
help you
no.
with that segue.
Yeah.
He was arrested. He was questioned along with I can't remember the other Man City star. It was him and someone else were questioned in this Mendy thing.
Oh,
So
yeah?
apparently, allegedly,
Allegedly.
they were on a mad night out with man
Oh,
like men.
yes.
And he then went back to his and allegedly committed a rape.
Right.
They didn't make it back to his. No after party piece. Thank God for them.
No.
Okay.
But they were all questioned for this.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, listeners, we're talking about Manchester City left back Benjamin Mendy, who you would have heard at least a couple of months ago now, was initially charged with a series of rapes. This week, he was charged with an additional 2 counts of rape. And the player is yet to enter a plea and has been refused bail on multiple occasions. So you haven't been able to see him playing for Manchester City in the meantime. 2 additional charges have been issued against the Frenchman who is accused of committing the offences between October 2020. Shouldn't we have been in lockdown? And August this year. This is a weird line. The complainants are 4 different women over the age of 16. I guess they have to reveal that, but
Yeah, because they don't want you to think it's a kiddie fiddly.
yeah, I guess. I mean, look, I think we'd be a bit silly to make a judgment on this before we get more details, unless we want to take the stance of believing it straight away without all of the facts and just giving a commentary there. One thing I will say, right, is how is this still happening? Why are these motherfuckers just not getting married young and just staying their ass at home? They are high profile
Getting
targets.
married young.
Brother, get your ass married young if you're a footballer making 6 bag a week.
Really,
Stay your ass at home, bro.
I definitely disagree with that.
Why?
piece of advice. Like,
I mean, it's all well and good like
what's
being
the
out
point of
there
having
slinging
options?
dick,
What's
but
the point
like,
of having options to then not have options?
bro, what? All these options make you a target, bro.
Yeah, but just don't rape. That's the
Again,
thing.
and that goes back to the stance that we want to take, right?
We don't know
what I mean?
anything.
Like,
I
exactly.
thought it was a bit strange that he was denied bail. Right,
Okay.
initially.
He must be banged to rights.
So that's the thing, right? So now with him catching 2 more charges, you can see that there's much more that we don't know going on behind the scenes.
There's a lot of
right?
smoke for there not
So
to be a
that's
fire.
why he's not getting bail, is because they have probably not only have him dead to rights, but also there are other things they're yet to drop.
But what about
like these
Gylfi?
2
What about
charges.
Gylfi Sigurdsson? We haven't seen him.
Well, that's a massive allegedly.
Allegedly.
That's a massive
It's
allegedly.
not massive at all.
Yeah,
it's,
well,
it's an allegedly.
For
It's just
legal
not that
reasons,
massive.
fair. No, because his name's not even been put out in the press yet. So we don't get sued by his
Illegal.
lawyers, who are clearly better than Mendy's.
Allegedly.
Yeah, it's
Allegedly.
true. It's true that his name. Shate, talking about Mendy, the other Mendy's vexed.
Yeah, so I was going to get onto
and the
that.
other Mendy as well.
Let's not jump. We'll get onto that. Let's focus on this.
Yeah, I don't know. We have to be. So it is kind of mad how like Sigurdsson's been deregistered from Everton's squad for the Premier League.
Yeah.
Also,
You
more
haven't given
importantly,
colour as to what he's allegedly
more importantly than that, been fully removed from Football Manager 2022.
Has he?
Which is really an indication of guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's not attached to a club, and he's also not a free agent, which means that he's
Why
obviously
are you
done.
not a free agent if you're not attached to a club anymore?
As in, if he were a free agent and he weren't currently under bail for being a nonce,
You can still be under bail and be...
you would be a free agent on the game.
Exactly.
But they've chosen not to put him in the game.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's suspect.
Yeah, obviously, which means he's probably done whatever the fuck he's accused of being doing.
He hasn't been charged, right?
He
Just
was
a bunch
given
of
bail.
speculation.
He was given bail. I don't think
he
he's
got bail for allegedly
Being a
having
nonce.
sex with someone underage.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Mendy
Yeah.
can't catch bail for
Yeah.
an overage rape.
Yeah.
boy.
Lawyers, innit? That's what it comes down to, basically.
Yeah, I mean, in the event that he hasn't done this thing, or there is, something that we don't know that's going to emerge, why don't you feel it's like a smart thing for men, these high-profile footballers, to just not be dicks and just stay at home, get married, and just chill?
Well, you're better off. Like, if I was you, the advice that I'd be giving out is more relating around NDAs and things like this, right?
Shit.
Like, as opposed to telling
Shit,
man, don't
man.
do nothing.
Damn.
Shit, then.
Like, wallah, like, if you're making 250 grand a week, you're
Stay at
21
home.
years old.
Stay at home.
You're telling my guy to stay. Like, even if you had the self-discipline to be able to do that, I don't think you can.
Get yourself a girlfriend who does all of the kinky shit
Why one
you
girlfriend?
want her to do, and
Why one girlfriend? You're 21 years old and you've got 600 grand a month. Why are you giving
He
these
said just
man
go
lack of
kickball
options?
go kickball in Saudi League and take
They can
four
go do what
wives.
they want. The only thing that they have to make sure is, firstly, don't be rapey.
Yes, of
But-
course.
Of course. But secondly, also just like it's banter, but literally these NDAs go down. Like, you see this stuff going down regularly. Someone comes back to your house for an after party.
Is that the life you want, bro? Is that the life you want?
I'd rather that life than not leaving my house.
Brother, leave your house with
I'm
your
walking
family.
into-
Go to Frankie and Benny's on Sundays after the match. Chill.
How many
Come
man you
back
think are
on
not
your
signing that
70-inch TV. Watch Moana with the young ones.
How many
Go and do
people-
kinky shit with your wife. Invite other couples into your relationship on some swinger shit. Sign
can't do that.
Sign NDAs
You
then.
can't do that.
No, sign NDAs then.
Why
Don't
do you have
be
to do it with couples if
slinging
you're signing
dick
NDAs,
in
bro?
Manchester City Centre clubs
No.
and then being like, oh.
Imagine me coming out of Manchester City Club, yeah, some club in Manchester City Centre, after party at mine. I'm some deep footballer. There's 50 people walking. There's 5 girls looking to walk into the after party. Which
Yeah.
one of them not signing an NDA?
Why would they? They don't have to.
Well, then they'll turn around and leave.
No, they won't. They'll still get invited in.
They're not.
They
That's-
will.
No, but that's you then, right? That's how you flop yourself.
I think that these footballers should take lead from another former vice president of the United States, Mike Pence,
Why do we do this?
who
I like where he's
calls his
going.
wife mummy.
Yes.
there's that, but who only chooses to be cucked whilst his wife is in the room.
Oh, come
He
on.
chooses what?
He only chooses to be cucked while his
Use
wife
this
is in the room. He'll
word.
never be in the presence of a woman
Yeah.
without
exactly.
his wife
Exactly.
by his side. So if you're going to get up
but-
to some soft shit,
But similarly, his wife can't be in a room with another man
yes,
without his presence.
Yes.
That is a bit of a madness.
that is mad.
These guys are fundamental Christians, basically.
That's like
and
a-
the guy can't be in a room with another woman without his wife present and vice versa.
That's an old school NDA, Tommy.
Yeah, exactly. That's that life NDA. That's it. Go find one of these kind of chicks.
No, that's you can't disclose because
Yeah.
I've got witnesses.
That's
a
find one
CDA.
of these things. That's what I'm saying.
It's sad, man. It's sad because look, I believe,
Just don't be rapists for
Yeah,
fuck's
yeah,
sake.
and that's the
You want
point.
250 back a week.
And that's the
don't
point.
fucking rape women. Shit.
and that's the point I was moving on to. The worry is, or my theory, my view on this stuff is, the problem is that whatever the hell you were before you got money is hugely magnified when you do get money, right? The chances are that this, and I shouldn't even really be saying this, I don't know much about Benjamin Mendy. Seemed like a life and soul of the party type, changing room character. Everybody swore by him. Injury or career blighted mainly by injury, but highly rated by one of the greatest managers ever, right? So we thought he was going to be good. But I believe the allegations. I have to believe the allegations. I just don't understand how this happens time and time again. We're hearing more and more of these kinds of stories emerging, and it's just like, it's so sad.
We also have to shout out the racists at the various newspapers.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
All of the various Mendy
Across
mix-ups.
Britain and France.
Poor Edouard Mendy, who is also a footballer who plays at Chelsea.
And Furlong Mendy as well.
Did Furlong get it as well?
Yeah.
And
At Real
these are
Madrid.
players who have unfortunately fallen into the trap of having their pictures used in stories covering Benjamin Mendy.
Yes.
Edouard felt so strongly about it that he made a post basically bemoaning the fact that this is symbolic, it is deliberate, and it is obviously very, very harmful if your face is emblazoned next to a story which involves rape when you are completely innocent. All I can say to the media outlets is, yeah, it's really not funny anymore. It's really not funny. We know what you're doing.
I would say you guys, you complain a lot about structural
I'm worried.
racism.
He said you guys. I'm worried.
You guys complain about, you people complain about
Oh, wow. Yes, okay.
structural
Upgrade.
structural racism in the press. I find this is actually progress.
Okay, tell me more.
At least these guys have the same name. I grew up in an era when Romelu Lukaku was presented with a picture of Stormzy.
Yeah.
We are moving forward. I think it's important that we acknowledge that.
We are. They kind of look alike, but there's no excuse.
I mean, I couldn't possibly say.
Who kind of looks alike?
Lukaku and Stormzy.
Oh, yeah. They kind of look alike.
Yeah, I do kind of look alike.
The Mendys don't look
They don't look anything like each other. But also, as one of them said, they're all wearing different kits, fam. They're going to put down a Chelsea kit. What the fuck?
Yeah. Look, I mean, thoughts with the... Thoughts as ever with the victims.
Correct.
The accusers and the victims.
Alleged victims.
Whatever you want to call it in this situation. Yeah, I just hope justice is served. And allegedly, with regards to Gylfi Sigurdsson, don't sue us, please.
Allegedly,
please.
That must be with Gylfi though, or Gylfi. That must be a super injunction, isn't it? Basically.
Yeah, but because this guy's name's not anywhere.
It hasn't been mentioned.
Anyway, he's got good lawyers.
Yeah. So we didn't cover this because it happened literally hours after we hit stop last week. But Britney Spears,
Free the girl.
the conservatorship is done out here.
Alhamdulillah.
She's still looking a bit shaky out here.
Is she?
A little bit.
Okay.
She is. Actually, if I was her, I'd be
little bit.
like, someone needs to give her some real advice.
But that doesn't matter, right? Like, if she's actually okay
She's
or not,
free.
does not matter.
It does matter.
No.
It does matter.
Doesn't,
Tell you why.
Tommy, it
Shall
does
tell you
not.
why.
No.
In 6 months, we're going to sell a hell of a lot of newspapers watching her crash in real time. like
And honestly, I'm laughing because this is
facts.
genuinely my fear.
did you see the video of her?
Well,
That video where she was...
She's just
not
rocking.
all right.
She's just like
Yeah,
rocking
she's
left
not
and
all
right, right?
She's
I was
definitely,
watching that video as well, and it's just like she spoke well. If you're just listening to it, she sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But I mean, the whole thing with like Britney Spears' videos after the last couple of years is just like, it's just like the overly done eyeliner, so she looks a little bit mad in the eyes.
Yeah.
She always does these really like weird dance routines and stuff, which everybody laps up. And then obviously this one, when she's talking about being free and how amazing it's been and being able to do little things like, you know, going to the ATM machine, buying candles and so on and so forth. She's doing it while she's like kind of like swaying like left and right. Like she's kind of got like a nervous twitch energy type thing where I was just looking at her like, it's great that you're free, but are you actually okay? What happens with Britney thereafter? Who is around her that's going to ensure that the psychological damage that has been done as a result of being in this conservatorship is looked after in the right way?
That's
and also whatever led to the conservatorship,
Yeah.
kind of instabilities led to her going into that.
Exactly.
You know, don't know.
That's what I was going to say. There's a freak. I was watching a documentary on this years ago. There's a frequent and consistent pattern of behavior exhibited in children in orphanages, which is this rocking motion. Traumatized and orphaned children in unhealthy relationships in orphanages do this like swaying thing. I'm not enough of a psychoanalyst to understand the reasons behind it, but it's a trend that has been picked up in the scientific community. But yeah, I mean, you give someone who's probably been like force-fed beta blockers for the last 10 years by a repressive father 45 million quid, and it's no surprise that they may end up going off the rails. So I do hope that she has the strength and guidance that she needs to get through this. But it's a pretty mad story of like how she ended up in it and what her parents were doing to her during it. Like, we're going to get the big Oprah interview. So
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
RT.
That's going to be like rivaling Meghan and Harry type ratings. But like some facts came out which were pretty mad chat. Like her old man was paying himself 12 grand a month as a privilege for like protecting the guardianship. So he was basically earning a wage. And it kind of did get me thinking, like, realistically, people always talk a lot about Project Mbappe.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I'm thinking if I can have a kid, turn them into a pop star, and pay myself 12 grand a month, Project Britney is probably the template to be using going forward. Do you know how many kids want to become footballers? I reckon getting your baby boy to become a singer is a much easier route to the top.
I disagree.
Definitely
Anyway.
not.
Well, then
Definitely
becoming a
not
footballer.
easy.
No.
Are you fucking mad?
Mate, don't worry.
To
You're
be
not the
fair,
first one to have this idea.
with TikTok and that, it's probably a little bit easier to become a superstar now. But
12 grand a month. That's Project Britney coming. Her old
also,
dear,
12 grand a month is not that much money.
you said that before. And I think that's a bit mad, bro.
This is 80 grand a year is not a lot for an MP discourse.
You know what I mean?
Right here.
But realistically, right?
12
Let's be
Gs.
honest. Let's be honest.
That's 12 grand
Let's talk
cash.
completely honestly, yeah?
He's not got her lifestyle, by the way. He's just
12 grand is not huge amounts of money.
a month.
Yeah, we're talking about 150 bags a year, right?
He's living in a
that's
mansion.
cash.
He's living in
Yeah,
a mansion,
150
paying
grand.
himself 12 grand a month, bro.
Yeah, he'll pay tax on that. It's not like he's not paying tax. Like he'll pay tax on that peas, and that's not a huge amount of peas. Like you guys
Give me
are-
those prop. Jesus, can
Yeah,
you hear
but
me?
like we
Jesus.
speak honestly,
Jesus,
you
give me
guys are
those
pretending
properties.
like
Can you
you
hear
man
me?
are
No,
not working
from
in
what
the
I've read,
city.
I'm pretty sure
You know
that
what I
that
mean?
12
This
grand
is
was
the-
net because
I
it's
want
coming out of
those
a trust as like a loan or some shit. So that he's not paying tax on that. Maybe the estate's paying tax. Anyway, Mummy was on 110 grand a year herself. She's looking to cut them out of the family. Apparently, she was forced implanted an IUD to stop her having another child. She was banned from getting married. She's now 39 years old. It's pretty bleak. Although she is engaged now to a 27-year-old. I would just like to say, mashallah.
He's about to rinse her.
To my guy, who's probably going to collect 22.5 million off that 45 million fortune. And good on him. She does already have 2 kids, 15 and 16. I actually don't know who baby daddy is. Do
Yeah,
either of
Kevin
you?
Federline.
Kevin Federline.
Oh,
She
is that
said she
who it
wants
is?
to pop another sprog out as well.
Yeah, so she
She
needs
wants
to
to get
off
married.
the IUD.
That was the big driver behind
you
trying
man
to
She's
end the
engaged.
conservatorship.
Are you
She's
man gonna,
engaged.
are you man going to apply?
For
Oh, she's engaged.
she's
man,
engaged to a
yeah.
27-year-old. Yeah. Sam.
How did she do that?
Ashgari.
Wait, how did
Ashgani
she-
She's been on the
Ashgari.
go for a while. She's not allowed to get married because of the conservatorship, and that was one of the things that drove her fans to be like,
Free Britney.
Free Britney."
Yeah, yeah.
So she's been able to have a boyfriend this whole conservatorship. That's a,
a
weird
boyfriend, but not. She wasn't allowed to get married because that would impact on the payout.
Why is that
if she-
weird? Like a 39-year-old good woman.
Maybe
allowed to
just
have a
maybe
girlfriend.
just because my views on what the conservative was, it just sounded like prison. You know what I mean?
Yeah, effectively. Yeah. Anyway, maybe it was
But I
prison
guess it
with
just
conjugal. Maybe it was prison with conjugal visits.
Yeah, exactly.
So fair play
It's
to
also
Britney.
like prison in a very kind of like exaggerated sense.
What, a gilded
Of course.
cage?
You know what I mean?
Of course, of course.
It's when Ellen DeGeneres was like during COVID times when she was like, "Oh, we've been cooped up in the house," and like she's doing shows from her house, and it's some fucking palatial $40 million mansion.
Well,
She's like, it's like prison in here. There's 3 swimming pools. in
Yeah.
her
Well,
house.
also,
And
while
she's
she
like,
was,
it's like prison.
Well, she's relentlessly bullying her staff and then getting cancelled. Anyway,
Did
so
she ever get cancelled for that?
She's
property?
been
Oh,
cancelled.
she's been cancelled.
done.
For you.
She's
All right, cool.
very
Anyways.
show's over.
Fair play to Britney. She's going to become a campaigner and an advocate for people stuck in other conservatorships.
She's gonna get back in the studio with the Neptunes and
No,
bring out
not in the
another.
studio. She'll do every 2 or 3 years. She'll do a residency in Vegas, make 30 mil, and that will cover you.
So I
for-
disagree
for a bit.
because I think she's about to cash a serious check from Netflix
100%.
for
what?
the
For a
upcoming
documentary?
documentary series.
Okay,
I don't
fine.
think another studio album is ever necessary.
That's what I'm
basically.
saying. The studio album thing, I don't think. What
She
she'll
will
do, these
100%
residencies,
make another album.
these Vegas residents, you guys are underestimating how much money these men
Yeah,
make from these Vegas
they're
residencies.
obscene.
Penn and
Yeah, they
Teller
make P.
and Circus Soleil. And
They
all
make
these men.
P,
It's
but guess
proper
what?
P's.
She's gonna
Celine
release an
Dion.
album as part of the rollout. You heard it.
maybe.
You heard it here first.
Maybe. Anyway, so she's going to campaign for disabled people under conservatorships. So fair play. Good luck to her.
Yeah, good luck to you, Britney Spears.
I just hope I don't see her burn in 6 months. 'Cause
Yeah, and-
what will happen is the media will fan this flame for a few months just to make sure, like, oh, she's out, because that will also sell papers. Look how happy she looks, and da 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 da. And for a few months, we'll have this idyllic Britney, and then slowly, piece by piece, they'll start picking. They'll
Yeah.
start picking a.
I'm sure this 27-year-old loves her for her and not for the money. So that's all going to work out
Well,
fine.
he's doing the long game, the G.
Good luck to Britney. Send some cash this way if you don't know what to do with it.
Please. We've been free Britney from day one
yeah,
as well.
exactly. If you forgot how to spend your cash, I can send you the cash app.
I got Revolut.
I'll create a cash app.
Yeah.
So you can send some funds.
Yeah.
We are now going to move on to relationship advice.
Oh.
Very good. So, relationship advice, yeah? You man ready?
We are here.
Let's go.
This one's a little different to the ones that we're used to. It's a little more mature.
I like
Oh.
different. I like it a lot.
All right.
I am 40 years old
Yummy. Mummy?
and I want a baby. Yes.
Okay.
Not yet.
But I haven't really found the right man.
Okay.
Recently, I met someone on the apps and we really get along. The problem is, before I met him, I decided that I wanted to have a baby and started the process of insemination. And now, since I've met him, I still want the kid, but I don't know if I should tell him and when I should tell him. How do you think he would react? And how would you react to be put in this situation?
Holy Jesus.
This is tough.
So I guess it's also not hugely dissimilar to possibly dating a lady who already has a child. I guess it's not hugely dissimilar to that.
Just to get the
degree.
predicament right, she is determined
She's 40,
to have a child.
and she's decided basically I need a child.
Yeah, and
She started the process of insemination, and during that process, I don't know exactly how it works, but it takes some time. During that process, she's met someone who she likes, but obviously still kind of hedging her bets because this relationship could similarly also not work out. So she wants to carry on with the insemination thing, while also dating my G.
well, honey, as far as revelations go, this is a pretty big one.
It's effectively like I'm pregnant.
You need to, as early as possible, I would say lead with that, but where that's not always possible, you have to find the quickest opportunity to reveal and reveal.
Can you see yourself being comfortable with it in any kind of particular circumstances?
If I'm the guy.
If you're the guy, yeah. So she sits you down, she lets you know, look, I started this process. I really want to carry on dating you, but I also want a kid. I don't know how this relationship's going to work out. So
Oh man, this is so tricky because if she gets with a guy who wants kids of his own, then that's tough. If she
That's not mutually
gets with
exclusive.
a guy,
You can still have a kid with her after she's had this insemination thing, right?
yeah, but some people want to have kids with their partner, and they want that to be their family. They don't want someone else's kid potentially, because that's one more kid than they essentially wanted to
For
have.
clarity's sake, it's not. It's like it will be a donor, right? So it's not like another
of course.
person will be in your life.
Of course, I get it, right? But it's a tricky one as well because if she is speaking to people who don't want kids, then that potentially means that she won't find many matches because, yeah,
How about you
that's a
specifically?
non-negotiable. For me, yeah, again, I mean, it's the same. It depends on my circumstance, right? It depends on what I want. I would want to know that as soon as possible. I do think she has to get to know the guy well enough to understand where they are with regards to like future planning for kids and so on and so forth.
Before telling him, you're saying?
Before telling.
Okay.
But as soon as you find that out, you have to tell what the situation
As
is.
soon as you find that out, regardless of what you find out,
Yes.
is what you're saying?
Regardless.
So regardless of what his answers are.
Regardless.
So then why do you even need to ask? You might as well just leave with it then, right? If you're
No,
saying
because it's
regardless.
personal. It's personal. Ultimately, it's a personal thing. And not everybody has to get access to your personal information straight away. But if you find yourself on a very adult wavelength with somebody and you're having personal conversations about the future, what they want to do with family and so on and so forth, once you have that information, it's your responsibility to tell them where you are at. Because getting with somebody, not telling them that you're pregnant, and then 5-6 months in when a belly starts to show, being like, by the way, not ideal.
Yeah. So I don't know if she's currently pregnant, but she'll be
Yeah, but you get my
pregnant.
but you get my
Yeah,
point exactly, right?
I
At
get
what
it.
point do you do it? Do you do it at the 6 month point? No, you probably do it earlier.
I mean, you'd be forced to do it earlier, right? Just because it will show 3 months, 4 months,
Exactly.
or whatever. Yeah.
So lead as early as you can.
Okay. But you didn't answer. Can you see yourself being comfortable with it? You yourself at any point. If any girl that you're dating sat you down and said, boom, this is the situation. Can you see a scenario where you're comfortable with it?
Yes,
Okay.
potentially.
Okay.
But I would rather know, because if I really want to have kids with that person, that could affect it.
Okay.
Especially if, like, at that age, for example, that may be one of her very few opportunities to have kids and all these other factors.
So that's going to be, I mean, obviously I don't know, but I'm assuming that's going to be the biggest driving factor is the age, right?
For the woman, yeah, for sure,
Because she
right?
started with, the first line is, I am 40, right? So
Yeah.
I guess that's the driving factor behind behind doing it.
And it's tough, right? Because if she decided not to go down the insemination route, she might find somebody who really wants to have a child with her and doesn't have to go down that
Yeah, but
insemination
she's gone
route.
40 years without
But
finding
yeah, no, exactly, which is why it's terribly tricky. But irrespective of what the man's plans are, she needs to find the earliest opportunity to reveal. I said that she should try to lead if possible, but that's not realistic. As soon as she understands what he is on mentally, she needs to reveal that ASAP, Rocky.
Do we know how long they've been dating for?
We don't.
Do we have any sense?
I got the I got the feeling from the message that it wasn't like a very long time, but it says that I really like him and I wanted to carry on dating him is what it said, right? Doesn't know how to tell him.
That's got to come up, man.
I don't know how to tell him. I don't know how he'd react, and if he would want a baby, if he wants someone who has a baby with a stranger.
So one of Tommy's most infamous catchphrases in the history of this podcast is "die with the lie."
Oh, Johnny.
I'm going to paraphrase Tommy here.
Quite interested to see what the lie is.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say "fly with the lie."
Wow.
Okay.
What you've got here is basically a window of free optionality.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bit of risk. We don't know by whom she's been inseminated.
Yeah.
But she's got about 3 or 4 months to figure out whether or not this guy's worth having a kid with. Dating at the age of 40, very different to dating at the age of 18. Very different to dating at the age of 28, 38. You don't take as long to figure out whether or not the person you're dating is worth your time the older you get.
I hear that.
Within 3 months, she'll get to a point, if she's inseminated, inshallah, that she begins to show.
Mm-hmm.
Within 3 months, she'll know whether or not she really wants to have a kid with this
It's
guy.
not the way to live your life.
Wait,
That's
carry
not the way
on.
to do
Let's
it.
let him land.
By the time she's pregnant enough to show, she can either say to this guy, look, I'm pregnant and it's yours,
Wild.
Okay.
or just leave him and walk away with your child.
That is fucking
You can't walk away because
wild.
she likes
Johnny
it.
Vivas.
She could always walk away. Nah, I don't know. Because the walk away option's always there, but she wants to carry
You
on
are
dating.
literally potentially entertaining a situation where she makes this brother believe that's his seed.
18 years. And on his birthday found out it wasn't his.
That was-
I thought you were Team Kanye, bro.
That was literally-
what is
I thought you were Team Kanye, my guy.
That was literally the song I was going to reference. I was going to reference that bar. I was going to reference
And
that
on the
bar.
18th birthday, she found out
Look,
it wasn't his.
What's Kanye's boy's been in jail for 43 years?
47.
47. Small stretch. 18. Small.
So look, she obviously kind of wants her cake
Wow.
and wants to eat it, right? Because she wants to carry on dating him and wants to have the kid as well. So like the optionality that Johnny was talking about is
It's there.
I can't see it.
Oh, I think it's there.
Because the option of her having the kid and bunning him off has always been there, but she doesn't want that. She wants to have both.
3 months, she gets down the road, she's pregnant. It's either his or it's not his. But she gets a baby either way.
Yeah.
She's gonna have that
It's going to take her
baby
3 months to figure it out. She's,
matter what.
She's having her cake. She's
But
then
that's
got
the
3 months to
point.
decide whether or not she eats it as well.
Whether
wants-
he gets a piece.
Guys,
Yes.
she wants
3
a,
months to see whether
I
he
think it
gets-
sounds like to me that she wants a baby more than she wants a relationship.
Well, she wants a baby
that's
more than she wants
reasonable.
this guy
And that
right
is
now.
reasonable.
That's
That is reasonable. So the reason why I say that is because,
But she can have both.
of course, she could potentially have both.
But she could definitely have both
Are you done?
if she pretends it's his.
All right, cool. Let me go.
Are you willing to tell
The
one
point I
lie?
was trying to make was if the important thing is having a kid more so than having a relationship, then she is open to the possibility of being a single mum, which is why she's gone down this route of insemination, irrespective of having a
Yes.
partner.
Yeah.
Yes.
So why the hell would you not tell the person that you're with?
Because then they might leave and she might want him to stay.
But she was down for that possibility the
Yeah.
minute
Then
she
she
said
met him.
she's wanted to be a single
Yeah,
mum
she
in the
met
first
him.
place.
Then she met
so
the
she
boy.
owes. Why are you guys like removing her responsibility to be honest to this brother? I know it's all bants, but like she has to tell him.
All right, fine.
Yeah,
We're being
yeah.
serious.
Like from my perspective.
Sorry, I had to make it serious.
No. But from my perspective, like, yeah, ultimately, I guess part of the question was about you and what would you do?
Yeah.
Right. And that's why I was trying to like hammer that point home to you a little bit.
Yeah.
Me personally, I can't really see too many scenarios where I'm willing to kick it after that conversation, right? So whether I really liked her, whether I really didn't really like her, whether I want to have a kid with her, whether I didn't really want a kid with her, whatever the kind of preconditions you were talking about. After this conversation, knowing that a pregnancy is imminent and it has nothing to do with you, safe. Right?
You're out.
Basically.
You're
Yeah,
out.
effectively. And I don't think that that's an uncommon reaction.
Oh, agreed.
Right? So therefore, it would also be somewhat logical for her to debate Johnny's line of thinking, right?
She's
Because
maintaining optionality.
It's logical that most bears are gonna kick, and if that's the case, then you can at least play with the idea that you may possibly lie, right?
She's got
But
3
anyway,
months to figure it
that's
out.
Johnny's thing. I'm not running with that. I'm running with effectively. You've been at it for 40 years. You've been looking for a fella to settle down with. That hasn't happened. You've obviously prioritized having the kid more than this G you've met on one of the apps. So keep it moving like that. Have the kid, have the conversation. My G will probably kick, and you carry on back to your original plan of raising that kid on your own. Is basically what I'm saying.
Look, if they've had unprotected sex, he's already run the gauntlet. It's on him.
Punish him.
It's on him at this stage.
Punish him.
It will finish him, really. Yeah. It's on him at this stage. I say maintain your optionality, sweetheart, because that's really the only thing we have in this life.
There was a something like a little meme thing someone shared with me about a grandfather who was suspicious that his grandson's missus was like messing around, was cheating and blah, blah, blah. So in the night he tested the grandchildren's hair. He took like a couple of like strands of hair or whatever and had it run through a DNA test and found out that it had no familiar matches to him.
Yikes.
So then confronted the missus, the whole family. Like, rah, look,
I've been conducting tests.
exactly. I've been conducting tests. Rah, rah, rah.
Oh, is this going
she
where I think it's
swore
going?
up and down.
Fuck
like,
yeah.
nah,
I know
haven't
where this is
cheated, I haven't
going.
cheated, I haven't cheated.
I know where this is
alright,
going.
Whatever. So they did a second round of tests. Turned out that they were the husband's child. And it was at that point the grandfather learned that wasn't his son.
Haram. Haram, haram, haram.
So 18 years ain't even a thing. You can go much longer than that, Fire.
That's short stay car park at Heathrow. B.
Exactly. That's not even. That's the £5 that you're now going to have to pay to do the drop off thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what 18 years is a drop off.
That shit pissed me off, by the way. That new rule has pissed me off.
It's a drop off.
right
It's
off.
a drop off compared to a grandfather.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the whole life.
So listener, how do we summarize?
I'll summarize. So this is the advice that you've been given, right? The advice that you've been given is ultimately be honest. Tell the guy, and if he steps, then you carry on with your plan as
that was your plan
as you had
anyway.
originally constituted it.
Yes.
If, however, listener, you are listening on YouTube, lie to him.
Fly with the lie.
This is nasty season.
Yes.
So if you're on YouTube, baby, don't worry. If he's been busting that nut freely, then cheese. Punish him.
If he's worth keeping, he'll stick around anyway.
Wild. Yeah, keep the submissions coming in. To either one of our individual Instagrams or to the Disconnect Terribly Instagram handle. We'll be here doing them justice every other week.
Rich is visibly rattled after
Fuck
this
it, mate.
week's
Honestly,
section.
I think, you know what, low-key, that might be... Yeah, that was the hardest one.
That's definitely the hardest
That
one.
is the hardest one.
Yeah, no, she has to tell him. She's just
Wow.
got to be straight up with the plans. I like you, but I'm also doing this for me. My age can't really play around. I hope that we can do something. Insemination might not work, but we're both going to figure out quickly whether or not we want a kid.
You're also assuming that at 40, she's probably also dating another guy who's of similar age.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he will probably also come with some form of baggage himself. Maybe he's a divorcee. Maybe he has a child of his own from another marriage.
Yeah, so he's
blah,
like,
blah,
fuck
blah.
it. Yeah,
So he
yeah.
may be down for it as well, right? So there could
True.
be scenarios like with our age demographic, we could sit here and be like, nah, we're not down with it. But if she's 40 and she's dating a 45-year-old guy, then it could easily work. So just be honest.
But yeah,
Yeah,
Or lie if you're on YouTube.
fly with the lie.
for real. All right. We're going to do the quiz.
Yeah.
This is actually pivotal.
The big
We've
one.
had a little break from the quiz.
The
Yes.
biggie. This is the one.
But this one, so at the beginning of the quiz, listeners, we had decided to make it a best of 11 series. And currently, young Abiyadi is 5-4 up.
Don't sound surprised.
So if he wins this and goes 6-4,
Winner.
that series over.
Winner.
So this is pivotal times for
Chicken
a man
dinner.
like Johnny.
Don't know.
He's not nervous at all.
He's getting his Google ready. Look.
I'll get my notes app out.
Liar.
Because it's such a special quiz, I've prepared 25 questions.
What?
What?
He was waiting for
Jesus.
that penny dropped. I was like, huh?
All right. So your usual 5 questions, boys. You know, and listen to them. You guys know the rules. Every question's answer is a number. You
Ready.
sum your numbers. 5
Let's-
questions, 5 numbers. Sum them all up, and at the end, whatever that number
Let's
is
go.
your answer.
I
calculator.
thrive under pressure.
Johnny, who started this quiz process so bullish,
Yes.
is currently 5-4 down.
Yes.
After being given a freebie.
What? What was I given a freebie?
You were given a freebie.
The one that I won.
He allowed you on one.
Yeah.
Or the one that I won.
All right. So the first question today comes out of left field.
My comfortable space.
Very, very left.
Yes.
What number of kids makes the parent happiest?
Oh.
All right. So how many children maximizes a parent's happiness? Question number 2.
Very good.
So obviously this week we've had a lot of news around MPs and second jobs and la 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 la. So this is in line with that. The BBC publishes annually its staff compensation. There are approximately 76 BBC presenters and journalists making over 150k a year. Right? We all know this list. The man like
Gary Lineker,
tops it every year.
Koonsberg. Is that her name?
Exactly.
Yeah.
All them, man. Laura Koonsberg and these guys, right? So there's 76 of them that make over 150 grand a year. How many of these 76 have topped up their salaries with second gigs or jobs? Private gigs or second jobs?
Of the 76.
Of the 76. So I've just looked at the guys who are in the top bracket, which is the over 150k bracket, which are 76 of them. How many of them are taking on second jobs? So how many of them are working second jobs while criticizing the MPs for working their second jobs?
Very good.
All right. This is question number 3. This is actually breaking news
Okay.
that broke earlier today. Peng Shanyu,
Yes.
a Chinese female tennis player,
Correct.
who in 2014 was ranked world doubles number 1 by the WTA and was the first Chinese player to ever do so. Now, in the answer section, I'll go on to why we're talking about her. But the question about her is ultimately, what was her highest ever singles ranking? Right? So in 2014, she went number 1, doubles number 1. Where did she place? What was her single highest placing on the singles charts? Question number 4. Abiyadi's not looking confident
Good
today.
one for me, this.
Not looking confident. The worst ever performance figures have once again been recorded by hospital emergency departments and the ambulance service in Wales. Figures for October show fewer than 65% of patients spent less than 4 hours in accident and emergency departments. But to me anyway, more shockingly, were the ambulance service respond times. During the month of October, the ambulance service responded to X number of red calls, which are calls where life is at immediate risk within 8 minutes. So the question is, for the month of October, in NHS Wales, the ambulance service response times were X% for what was classified as red calls. Yeah?
Yep.
Final question, number 5. And this is a bit of a throwback question. Kind of completes the loop on our news cycle.
Okay.
Jacob Chansley, the former actor and Navy sailor who is better known as the QAnon shaman.
Yes.
Oh, that motherfucker.
Mr. Chansley, 34, emerged as one of the riot's most familiar figures, largely because of his outlandish costume he wore on that day. A horned helmet, a fur pelt draped around his naked shoulders,
Fake Jamiroquai, isn't it?
and a thick patina of red, white, and blue face paint.
Right.
On Jan 6th, The government says Mr. Chansley was among the first 30 rioters to enter the capital and quickly used a bullhorn to rile up the crowd and demand lawmakers be brought out. So he was sentenced this week. How many months in prison was he sentenced for? Breaking and entering, first 30 rioters, blah, blah, blah. How many months in prison did he get?
Ding, ding.
Add all these numbers up,
Got it.
ladies and gentlemen.
I think it's a low scoring week.
And once you've added all these numbers up, Abiyadi, as always, you're closest to me, so I'll see your number. Okay. And Mr. Vivas, please give us your number.
I'm very not confident.
Okay.
My number is 79.
79.
My number is
Abiyadi.
37. I think it's a low scoring week.
37. There's a big gap here. All right, let's start it off. Number one, how many kids?
2.
2.
A handful of studies have tried to pinpoint the number of children to maximize the parents' happiness. One study from the mid-2000s indicated that a second child or a third child didn't make parents happier.
Ooh.
If you want to maximize your subjective well-being, you should stop at one child, the study author told Psychology Today. However, a more recent study from Europe found that 2 is the magic number. Having
was a
more than 2 children wouldn't bring any
rollercoaster of
parents
emotions.
any
Yeah,
more
innit?
joys. So 2 is the number. Interestingly, the 2-child ideal is a major departure from half a century ago. In 1957, only 20% of Americans said the ideal family had 2 children or less, with 71% saying 3 or more.
Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
that's how it's changed over time.
It's now fucking punitively expensive to raise children in
and
modern
people
society.
are
Keep
arguably
it-
more selfish
Just
as
keep
well.
it moving. This is tense.
You ready, yeah?
Yeah.
So 2. This
Your
hasn't
tense.
told you much. You don't know if the answer's a small
is-
number or
this
a
is
big
cool,
number,
bro.
yeah? All right, this will help. Number 2, about the second jobs, yeah? For these 76 BBC, man. The answer,
34.
34,
I think I did 40. I can't remember.
14. The answer's 21, or just under 30%.
I couldn't have done 40 then.
So most of this comes from in the form of speaking engagements, moderating debates, blah blah blah, closed door CEO forums. But it's just interesting to think that we're talking about MPs at 80k who are taking second jobs, and these BBC presenters on 150 are taking second jobs. So number 3,
Oh, God.
where did she rank Peng Shui in the world rankings?
I think I put 13 or something like that.
I put number 8.
14. Nearly nailed that. So the reason that she's come out onto the news is because
She got missing.
Yeah, so last month on Chinese social media called Weibo, she alleged that the former vice president to the country had sexually abused her. Those 2 posts on Chinese Twitter called Weibo were removed within half an hour, and censors blocked numerous related terms, including tennis. But the claims still managed to go viral. And since those claims, she hasn't been seen since.
Yes.
Mazza.
So this hit the news
Thoughts
today
with?
because Chinese state media today released a Twitter statement that apparently that she had written to the head of the WTA, in which everyone's basically saying she didn't write this. It's very much Mohammed bin Salman school of Khashoggi murders kind
Yes.
of chat. So keep an eye on this news story that's developing rapidly.
There's actually a lot of mad chat to get into around
a
that.
lot of madness around that. She thought the Me Too thing extended out to China.
It did not.
Found out it didn't.
Yes.
NHS Wales, shockingly, 50% of red calls were responded to in 8 minutes.
Shit, I'm out of this.
Yeah, you are.
So only 50%, down from 52% from the previous month.
I actually went low. I said 24%.
You thought only 24%.
I went
That's
lower.
mad.
The way you answered that
Red-
fucking longest question in the world.
I
I was
lie.
like,
Guys, red
Unclear
calls are
terms.
something that they consider immediate risk. Like someone's about to die.
Yeah.
And only 50% of
yeah,
those
the way
calls
you
are
framed
reached.
it just made it sound.
There's a lot of countryside in Wales.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Whatever. 50s.
I've
Richard's
lost.
getting bitter.
Oh, so now we're
Richard's
getting upset
getting
about...
bitter.
That's funny how we get upset about phrasing of questions.
I've not
Yeah.
said anything. I've not said
Oh, the
anything. I got it wrong.
terms,
For
the
I got it
terms
wrong.
Finally.
weren't clear.
I got it wrong. That's all I said. I
This
got
is
it
the
wrong.
one that will throw you guys off about, I guess, how long this guy got. He got 41 months.
I did
I got
21.
11 months.
I got 21 months.
Yeah, so you got just over 3 years effectively, which makes sense because we're seeing people go to prison for much less than this
Right.
for much longer.
Yeah.
So your grand total,
He'll do very well in prison, I'm sure.
yeah. So the answer was 128. Johnny Vivas ties it up.
Huge.
5-5.
Huge.
So that means the
Is
next
it actually
quiz.
5-5 though? I
Yeah.
think we need to revisit. I think it was 5-4 now.
Yeah, it's all recorded, so we can go back. Luckily for us, but 5-5.
Quizmaster's got to do that surely. He's got to keep the score.
We did that. We've moved
No,
on.
we didn't. None of you
We've
checked.
moved
It is
on,
5-5.
bruv. We've moved
So
on.
we can double check.
You
if
are
you want.
bitter like
But,
the lemon.
No, well done, Johnny. Well done.
The next one's pivotal now. So the one who wins the next one claims their
Claims the
grubby hands
Yeah.
on the title
Of kudos, basically.
of
Yeah.
Champ.
Of champ forever. Like, who's ever going to let the other side live this one down? For real. I'm never letting you live it down when I win. Just RT.
Oh, you better be prepared.
Is
You
it
better
that
win.
deep?
We're not doing it in the next episode because I'm coming back from America. But for the final episode of the year,
Why are we not doing it on the next episode?
Because I'm not looking at the news.
That
while
sounds
I'm
like a
in-
you problem.
It does sound like a
Wow.
you problem.
Wow.
It does sound like a you problem.
Wow.
Let's just stop the course of action because you.
Almost.
If anything, what you should do is lobby for a change in questions, like we did the geography one. Remember when we had like,
Yes.
what's the population of blah blah blah?
Yes. Well, I think it's a good way to finish the year by having the tiebreaker episode, which is the episode after next.
No. Fuck all that. Anyway, thank you, gentlemen, for another fantastic episode.
You're welcome.
To the listeners as well, big up. This is another one for you, episode 29. Johnny's going off on holiday. Wish Johnny a very happy holiday. Done now. Peace out. Holla.
Bye.
Safe.